Well, guys, welcome back to Abby Tunes Radio, guys. It has been such an exciting night. I'm calling this particular episode When Sing Meets Sing Meets Sing Meets Sing. And you know what? I've got another Sing here. He has been blowing everyone up with his charisma, his style, his intelligence, his passion, his empathy for the community. Guys, I have Mr. Japneet Singh. He is running for city councilman in District 28. At this point, I'm going to say you're absolutely no stranger to the Abby Tunes Radio family.
Thank you. And it's always an honor. And I'm always blown away by coming and seeing the reception that not only I get from the audience, but you. I think we've become very close over this span of this last couple of weeks. And it's always a joy to be on here and talking to the people. So thank you for having me.
Well, viewers, at this point, I've been calling him a picnic. And I'm like, you have to call me Auntie Lakshmi. He refuses, but what can I say?
Do a survey. Who can call this lady an auntie? I don't know.
Well, when you use the term lady, lady is an auntie.
Oh,
okay. For you, because you're Punjabi, you could say Lakshmi auntie.
Okay.
All right, guys. So, I invited Jap back because, Jap, really exciting. This weekend starts the early voting.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So people can go out. Resorts Casino
Yep.
is one of the places they can go, and they can start early voting. Tell everybody, specifically, the times, the places, where can they go and vote for Sing.
Right. So, it's a very big weekend. I was just actually canvassing right before I got here, and people are energized, man. This is the first time in 8 years we're going to have a new mayor, a new controller, and half the city council is going to be brand new. So we have an opportunity to have a brand new government all across the board for the entire city of New York. So for our community, if you're living in Richmond Hill or South Ozone Park, chances of your polling site to be the casino is very, very high. There's about 36 election districts. You would have to go on the board website just to make sure it is the casino. But again, if you live around those two neighborhoods, chances of being a casino is very high. If you live in Jamaica, chance of your polling site being your college is high. And if you live in Rochdale Village, the Rochdale Village Community Center will be your polling site. So polls are open beginning this Saturday, the 12th, all the way down to June 20th. And the timings varies. Like Saturday, it'll be open from, I believe, 7:30 until 4:30. And it varies all across the week. And then June 22nd is a big day, which is polls will be open from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. So please come out and vote.
That's right, guys. Make sure you come out and you vote. Again, early voting starts June 12th. I have to tell you that Michael and Nalini both said, nope, he's right. You don't look like an auntie. So thanks, guys. And Hashim Ali is saying, Sing for the win. So that's right, guys. Make sure it is Sing. That's right. Sing for the win. And it's so simple to remember that last name.
Yeah.
Singh could be an Indian name, a Punjabi name, a Trinidadian name, a Guyanese name. It could be a name that everybody recognizes worldwide. So make sure when you go out and you vote Singh. Now, Japneet, you came on Let's Talk with Lakshmi. You came on Abby Tunes. ITV Gold's episode is coming out this Saturday. You have been going on a lot of West Indian shows and Indian shows and Punjabi shows. And I think everywhere you're going, people are falling in love with you.
And I have to credit the host in most cases because you guys do a phenomenal job. And I think it's a testament to how ready our community really is for real change. I was just on a Zoom call earlier today too, and this community was the most civically engaged leaders in our community, and they were so fed up with the current system. And I think that tied in with just real conversations. I think when you're from the community, you've grown up in the community, you're more relatable to the people that live in the community. So we've been just taking that same mindset. I'm like this in front of you, I'm like this in front of my friends, and we want to make sure that we take this sense of realness to the city hall and take it to the city council and make sure that we advocate for the people that look like us.
That's right. Now, when you came on the show a couple of weeks ago, I thought, guys, that I was just going to interview this young man. But, there was something just so passionate about you and very real about you.
Right.
And, sometimes it's kind of like, when you're young, you're a little raw. But when you're young, you're very passionate as well. And it's that passion that I saw in you that I think is really going to make a change in the community. Now, what I did notice, because other than interviewing him, I actually, went out, I'd say about 3 days with you.
More than that, but yeah, sure.
I think 3 days. One day I did door knocking.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, guys, 9 out of 10 people, it's actually 10 out of 10 said yes, but 9 out of 10 signed the early voting sheets for him.
Yeah.
And the 10th person said he was going to go directly to vote for you.
Right.
But what I did notice is a lot of people said nobody ever came to their house and knocked on their door,
Yep.
which means people don't care about our community because
100%.
they're not going out to seek that vote, which is so important. I mean,
Right.
we just had Felicia Singh on, and she mentioned that she's out there every single day knocking on doors, which you're knocking on doors as well.
Right.
And actually yesterday I was with you in Rochdale Village,
Yes.
and he was giving away bags. If you want to sing bag, make sure you come to the office. What's the office address?
It's a 119-22 94th Avenue.
So he was giving away Sing shopping bags and in Rochdale Village, and you were getting a lot of complaints, right?
Yes. First up, just to touch on your door knocking point, I think it's very important that we stop treating our politicians like celebrities. The times of them coming to our temples and mandirs and mosques and churches, and we just stand there with a photo op, those days are gone. I think one thing we should take out of this election is our campaign. I'm not even an incumbent, and we've gotten so much attention. When we go to people's doors, I'm running against an incumbent. People don't know their name, and I think it's very important to highlight that point, because the fact that they know my name, and I'm not even in a position of power right now, and they don't know the person that speaks volumes as how much presence they really have in the community. So when I go door to door, one person just said, "I'm gonna vote for you just because you're the first person that ever came to my door." That's powerful. That should be the bare minimum of what we expect from our elected officials. They're public servants. We're public servants. So our job should be to be visible in the community. And even where she's, her, I would call it home turf would be Rochdale, because that's where her office is. That's where she's based out of. And even when I go door to door in Rochdale, people don't know the name, and she's 100 feet from the Rochdale Village. So I think that's very important to underscore, because we want to make sure that whoever gets elected, we keep them accountable, we keep them visible, and we make sure that they're pouring funding into our community so we can excel and thrive.
Speaking of funding, I know that you had done your own fundraiser,
Yes.
but you started late,
Yeah.
so you never got that 8 times the amount
Exactly.
that pretty much every other candidate receives. Considering that you did not receive that funding, I mean, what makes you keep on going? Because this is not a cheap,
not.
thing to do. You're spending tons of money on
Right.
posters and flyers, and you have volunteers. You're even paying people to come out and help as well. You did not get that additional funding. Why did you keep on going?
So I think we need to. I hope this gets shared, because I think a lot of people in New York City do not know this. There's about $100 million from our taxpayer money funding 592 campaigns across the city of New York, including all the mayoral candidates. Meaning our taxpayer dollars are funding all these political candidates, whereas there's only 60 positions in government. So I think a lot of people are in it to make the money. A lot of people have over $200K to spend on campaigns. I'm running a campaign. You do not need $200,000 to run a campaign for city council. If you do the right things, if you negotiate the right prices, if you just make the relationships you need in the community, you can get a lot of these things done, sometimes at very minimal cost. Not that I'm saying it's cheap, but it's definitely, I don't think you need where I say that you're spending $20 on a flyer, you can get that same flyer for $10. You just gotta talk to them the right way and just make those business relationships. And I tell this to many people: we're in it to win it. I'm not here to make a quick buck. I'm not here to take government money and put it to the side. Everything that we're raising from the community on behalf of all the community support we've gotten is going straight to the campaign. and this is all public record. You can look at who's spending what and where all the money is going on the New York City Campaign Finance Board website. And I want everybody to understand this process, because the fact that the city is matching every political candidate 8 to 1, meaning if you give someone $100, it turns into $900. So that's very powerful, and we're not getting that, because at the end of the day, for me, it's about the community. Whether I have $100,000, which I don't have, or I have $0, it's about just keep pushing for the community, and that's what we're doing.
And what is it about the community that you want to see?
Just better representation all across the board. I think when 2/3 of the district feels left out, there's a problem. When we don't have someone that looks like us on the seat, on the table, that's a problem. When we constantly have the same dialogue every single year, that's a problem. I think we want to make sure that this time we make the right choice. This time we elect someone that's from this community, that's pretty much raised here his whole life, and we get that person and keep that person accountable. And when you're 6'3", wearing a colorful turban, it's hard to miss. It's hard to miss you. So I think it's very important that a son of the community would be right there. And one thing I told you and many others is I want to have an office right in the middle, dead middle of the district, so everybody feels welcomed, everybody feels served, and everybody has a voice that's advocating for them.
Japneet, when elected, what are the first 3 improvements will you make for this district?
First things first, clean up our streets. I think every major avenue in our community has horrible sanitation, and funny enough, we were told that there's $8.3 million being spent on sanitation. That's funding that came to this apparently this district that we've never seen. There's barely any trash cans going down Liberty Avenue, barely any on 101, Sufton, Gaillard Brewer, any major. I'm a very big sanitation guy. I think there should be a trash can on every major intersection, including even side streets, because at the end of the day, people always have trash in the cars. I always have trash, and I'm looking for the nearest trash can. And when you have to keep driving, and then you're like, okay, you know what? I'll just go home and drop it there whenever I get a chance. That's a big problem to me. Education. I think we need to get more resources for our youth, our kids, and we want to make sure that we really. We always talk about empowering our kids, but if we're not even giving them a platform, what does that really mean? It means nothing. So I want to have a community center set up for everybody, the youth as well as the elders. I remember, when I was a younger kid, my mom was able to go to the Beacon program as well, and she was able to learn Excel and other things that can help her with her job skills. So I think bringing those back for the adults as well as seniors, that will help them out tremendously, especially since we have such a big immigrant population. It will definitely help them in the long run. And then having a full court basketball courts, having a soccer field, you could turn a basketball court into a soccer field. You could turn that into so many different things. And the fact that our kids are going to Long Island, Astoria, Williamsburg, just so they can get a game of basketball or just sports, that's ridiculous to me. So we want to have a community center that serves all those purposes. And in that community center, we want to have a recording studio for our up-and-coming artists. We want to have a dance studio for our dancers, and make it a full, just make sure it's a community hub. Man, we want to make sure our kids stay right here. They're not moving to Long Island when they're in college, which most parents are doing that, taking their kids to Long Island after they graduate high school. We want to keep them right here because we want people to be like, we're proud to be from this community. And third, like I mentioned, having an office right in the dead middle of the district, which in my mind would be Liberty and around the service area, a service road of the Van Vick, just because it's the most visible spot, and there's always traffic coming in and out of that area. So I think it will be a very visible location for everybody around the district.
Now, Japneet, I know that you have been really, really busy with the campaign, and you may have missed a question or two that may have been coming into social medias, and I'm going to bring that up because I noticed someone did make a question, put out a question, and you didn't get to it. Sure. And guys, he's all over the place. I went out with him and his team 3 times. I believe he says more, but I think it was 3. And twice I was with you, with your team, and then one day I was with Shabani. And when I went down, I think it was like 110th Street. Very nice family. It was a Guyanese family, all Singhs. They are going to vote for you. Okay. But, one thing, they were like, well, why isn't he here? And I said, Uncle, he has 70,000 doors to knock on. And trust me, what I'm doing right now for him, he's doing it right now in Rochdale Village. So he can't hit 70,000 doors by himself. With that being said, if you would like to volunteer for his office, please do hit him
Yes.
up. But I know sometimes questions are missed. So if you guys did message him, I do apologize. He cannot get back to everybody. But I know one person wanted to know, what are your plans for noise control, specifically in Richmond Hill and Ozone Park, where they're saying, every weekend there's a party and it's going on till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And while people love to party like myself, I love to go out, and when I go to a party,
She wants me to call her auntie. Come on now.
aunties can dance too. Aunties can
That's
party
true
too. Okay.
Shout out to all the aunties.
Right.
For sure.
So, as much as I like to party as well,
Yeah.
I can understand if somebody's complaining about the noise every weekend.
100%.
So this person wanted to know, what were your plans regarding noise control in residential areas?
No, that's a issue that hits home for me, because I've been a property. I've been living in a house for the last 20 years of my life, and my dad and myself, everybody in my family wakes up fairly early, but my dad in specific, he wakes up around 5:30 every single day, and I would go even beyond just the weekend, even on weekdays. Some people aren't mindful of the time, but at the same time, what it is that they get a slap on the wrist whenever someone complains. So I think we need to up the penalties when someone is on a consistent basis being in trouble for noise complaints. Okay, if you do it once, sure, but what about the next time? If you keep giving them minor fines, it's going to be like, okay, I'm not going to sacrifice my entertainment just for whatever the fine is. And that's what happened to my uncle. My uncle called the cops, and the guy was, they were having a wedding, which I understand. But again, when you go over a certain time, then it's like you want to be respectful of that too. And I think the cops came as a second offense, and they gave him like a $50 fine. And what is a $50 fine when a wedding's happening? No one cares about $50 doing a wedding. So you want to make sure it's enforced, and the people that are doing this on a consistent basis are kept accountable. And then on top, another thing, a big problem is that NYPD responds not the fastest when it is this, because obviously priority is given to more severe offenses. But at the same time, we want to have that's where the reforming part of the whole system comes in, where we have a special department that handles these noise complaints, so people act on a quicker basis. So I would definitely propose a separate agency made, so that way there's more direct responses and more quicker responses to address these problems.
Okay. And another question is, how do you plan to combat the sanitation issues in Richmond Hill, specifically Liberty Avenue?
If there's money locked up, $8.3 million of it, making sure that the money comes to our neighborhoods. Again, this is something that is being told to the community, right? $8.3 million is not a small amount. And if this money is already brought into, and the current council person did lock up this funding, where is the funding going? Because it's not coming here. So I think the first priority would be raising this issue on a big level, on the citywide level. And I talked to so many people on Liberty Avenue, business owners that have been there for so many years, and they said that they put numerous bids in to get this problem addressed. They even started a petition, and still no resolution to this problem. And you can't have a power cleaning a day before the co-naming of Little Guyana Avenue, but what about every other day? You're trying to tell us that every other day we don't matter. So I think it's very important to keep the communities that live there in mind when you do these type of things. We want to make sure each community that lives there feels important every day, and that starts with clean streets. So we want to put more money there, and we want to make sure we act fast and keep our sanitation department accountable for that.
Okay. And Japneet, this is a question that I actually asked Felicia as well. We have seen generations, there is Spanish or French as a second language, or Italian as a second language. I know when I was growing up a long time ago, I don't know if they still have Italian, but in this community, we have a lot of Indians. Mm-hmm. When elected, would you put in having Hindi as a second language into the schools?
I think that language, Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu, any other language that's widely spoken in this district should be already taught in the schools. I remember in John Adams, they started teaching Hindi, but then they fell off of it. We want to
Didn't
make,
know that.
yeah, they did. They were Miss Verma, if I'm not mistaken, was her name, the teacher that was teaching it. So, but there's only one person that taught it. So obviously, when you have one teacher that can teach it, it becomes tough. What if that person retires? Then you're kind of screwed. So we want to make sure that we have multiple teachers that can teach these languages to our kids and make it an option for the students to take. Beyond that, like if you look at Canada, there's certain places in Canada that have Punjabi or Hindi as a second language, all over. So we want to make sure we can start having billboards that are Hindi or Punjabi, all the different languages that are spoken here, and that is in the realm of possibility. But it starts with having a person that's there first that can advocate for these communities, because right now we don't have a proper representation. But once we get someone in, nothing's out of the scope of imagination for sure.
Now, your district has a lot of East Indians as well as West Indians.
Right.
And I think there is a huge lack of understanding, or perhaps a disconnect of, where West Indian people, came from, or how is it that they look Indian but they don't speak English. Do you think that there can also possibly be something implemented in the education system of, indentureship, or, Guyanese history, Trinidadian history, Punjabi history? I mean, I recently learned about the 1984 history of Punjab. I had no clue that there was a division with Indians and Punjabis until I met you.
Right. So, we are mourning a Sikh genocide that happened in 1984 that took the lives of thousands of our Sikh brothers and sisters, all because of political welfare. So I think we want to make sure that we keep all marginalized communities at the core of it, and make sure that we're with them when things like this are happening. And I think the divide may have been unintentional, but it's our job, the next generation job, to eliminate that divide, and it starts with just dialogue. Like Lakshmi mentioned, I don't think she or I could have imagined her helping the way she's helping. We were expected to meet for 30
it was just
minutes.
supposed to be an interview. That was it.
And not even before the interview, we were just sitting down, just having a cup of tea, and
I didn't even want to meet him. I was like, just let him come on the show.
Right.
What do I have to meet him for?
And I'll take it. No, of course. And I want to take a step further too, because if anything, she has every right to support the current council person. If anything, because she worked with them with the Diwali, the parade that you do. But at the same time, I think we need to stop accepting just scraps. I think that's what she realized too, that we want to make sure that we have proper representation for the community that lives here. So when we had that conversation, that's why she was so hesitant to support me. She's like, okay, what are you gonna bring that's not already given? And when we had that simple conversation, we're like, damn, okay, we align on so many different spots. And she opened up so many doors just to get the platform out there. So I think we want to make sure we continue to have conversation with our brothers and sisters from the West Indian community, from the East Indian community, and just, I know she always says, there's only one block separating Liberty Avenue and 101 Avenue. It's imaginary border right there. So I think participating in each other's events is huge. I give her my word, whatever the results of 22nd will be, I'm going to be there front and center in anything that you guys do in the future. And that's my word.
And I'm going to definitely hold it to you.
100%.
But what I do love about Japneet Singh is that his team is not just Punjabis.
Yeah.
Okay? He has a mixed team. His campaign manager is Guyanese. He has a Middle Eastern person in there. He's Pakistani. He has, his whole team is all mixed up. It's not just a whole bunch of Punjabis. And I love that you guys are all young. I love that you served on the community board. I love that you were the president of your Queens College student board. I love that you had 20,000 students under you, so you already know how to manage people. I looked at his Instagram. I've seen the rallies that you've done. They're not quiet at all, which means he is definitely brave. And, that is what we need. You need someone who's brave. You need somebody who will have a voice for everyone. And what I have noticed about you is that you have been everywhere, where I may think, okay, you need to just push all the Indian people because we're Indian and we have enough Indian people out there to, get him in like that. But we have to be able to get them out. So, Jap, I want you to tell everybody why they should go out between June 12th and June 22nd and vote Singh.
This is about our future and the present. I think we haven't gotten the fair share for our communities for so long, and now, like Lakshmi mentioned, this is not just about the Indian community; it's about every community that lives in this neighborhood. And it starts with just going out and voting, because people died for this right. And the fact that we have so much power, again, if the mayor finds out there's so many Indians voting, he's not gonna. He'll come here more than just once a year. He'll come here more than maybe even once a month, because he knows there's voting power there, and that's what we can bring once we even get our people out and vote. And not because, again, you won't be just voting for me on that ballot. There'll be a mayoral race. You'll have borough president on there. You'll have a comptroller, public advocate. These are all citywide elections, and guess what? One common theme about all of them: they do not come to our area unless there's something huge like Guyana co-naming. That's when the mayor came. But we want to make sure that they come and to actually hear our problems, they actually hear the concerns of this community, and they actually sit down and treat us like we also are part of this city, man. Like, at the end of the day, we felt we are a very marginalized community, and it starts with just going out, showing them we have voting power, and we built this community. If you want to come in here, you have to go through everybody that lives here. And I think the time of just accepting scraps is done. And I just hope, my only hope for the community watching this is encourage your kids to be civically engaged. Have them take up a political politics class, or a political science class, or whatever the case may be, because the more we get them involved with this, the more our community will get empowered, the more we can get the funding for some of these issues like sanitation and all the noise complaints, all these things. When we have people that look like us, that know the problems of the community, we can get something done. So please, if you live in South Ozone Park, South Richmond Hill, South Jamaica or Rochdale Village, come out and vote. You can find more information on Japneet Singh for NY all across the board on social media. And I would love for us to connect. If you won't have any questions for me, please just shoot me a message, and I'll definitely answer it.
Well, guys, there you go. You have it right here live on Abhi Tunes Radio with Mr. Japneet Singh, running for District 28 Councilman. Make sure you go out, guys, and you vote Singh. All of us here at Abhi Tunes Radio, we are endorsing and we are supporting Japneet Singh. We plead to all of our viewers out there, support Singh. Okay, Jap is the man for that seat. So make sure we all help him to get in there to see a change. So, Jap, are you excited?
I'm super, super excited.
Are you going to win?
We do it no other way.
That's right. All right, guys. Remember, Singh is king. We're going to take a break. Yep, that's right. We're going to take a break. And when
that's how we're going to celebrate with y'all. I'm going to come on live. Can we do that? Can I say that?
Yeah.
Once we win, we'll come on live and celebrate with the audience.
Yeah, sure. We're going to have a big party with everyone. With our entire Abhi Tunes family. So, guys, when we come back, we have a special guest artiste right here live in Abhi Tunes Radio. Stay locked, and please do me a favor, share that link.